so the question is how to work with chronic physical pain. So yeah, this is something I've quite familiar with. I hate to say it, but I feel like I've mastered this. This sense of working with pain. And mastery in regards to pain basically means you've developed an incredible compassion toward yourself and toward your experience. And so I can tell, from looking at you that you, it seems like almost like on the verge of tears, with having so much pain in your body. And so my heart goes out to you. I mean, I can say first and foremost, I understand what it's like. I lived, almost for a decade with chronic back pain, and then I learned to really work with that. And it's not that the back pain has gone away completely. I still have flare-ups that are quite intense. But beyond that, I also had a head injury that's been going on for 2 years, so I get chronic headaches. And so, I don't want you to have a sense that, the person who's speaking to you has no idea what you're speaking about. I know this experience of pain. And it may sound cliche, it may sound silly, but I'm gonna say something a little bit crazy here. I invite you to embrace your pain. To embrace it. Now, if we step back from a place of mindfulness and look at our egoic nature, it's wired to resist pain, to struggle with pain, to fight against pain, to avoid pain. And I'm sure you've done that, like you said, for years you've tried this thing and that thing and tried to see this healer or that healer. And that's wonderful. Sometimes a healer can lift the pain. But, more often than not, God makes us live with something incredible. And so the question is, well, how do we live with this? How do we work with this? And so one of the things that I found greatly helpful in my own experience is just to breathe fully into the pain and to not move from it. To not move. To become incredibly intimate with pain. And people say, well, I'm intimate with the pain, I live with the pain, I know what it is. But when we're intimate with something, we get inside it. We understand its intelligence. We experience it from the inside out. And I can say this, this funny thing, it's a bizarre thing. I can remember, from years of, working for my teacher and building retreat homes and a temple and this and that, I really beat the hell out of my body. Before that, I grew up, maybe 20 years on a skateboard, jumping off ramps and hitting the concrete really hard. I've skied, I've snowboarded, I've mountain biked. And so I treated my body in a terrible way. I didn't do enough yoga on the spiritual path. And I kind of beat the hell out of my back. And so I lived with this experience of chronic pain. And, I tried, anything and everything, just, except for surgery. I wasn't about to, have surgery on my back. But at some point, my teacher just kept inviting me, Craig, why don't you sit with it? I said, yeah, I've tried sitting with it, it doesn't work. And he'd say it again, Craig, why don't you sit with the pain? Get close to it. Open into it. It took me probably 3 or 4 years to figure out what he meant. To really sit with it, to really open into it. Now there's this thought that it's physical pain, it's just pain. It just hurts. You don't understand, David, that's my teacher. But finally I kept, just trying. I would just sit with it, I would meditate upon it, I would just open to it. Again and again and again. And what I found was the pain, instead of it being like stuck and just like hurting so bad, I felt, as I opened into it, I felt, oh, it's expansive, it's vibrant, it's alive. Maybe it's like holding itself in a certain way. It has an intelligence, like I'm in pain, so I need to be stiff. But as I opened into it, what I found is the body began to relax. And as I relaxed, and when I let go of that like neurotic, like holding, which is what an ego does, what our nervous system does. As I let go of that, say that neurotic, just like holding tense, the pain began to release, it began to move. My body began to heal. And so it sounds very simple. But what it really takes is it takes tremendous courage to sit with and to open into pain. And now, hell, I've spent, the good part of 10 years working with people in some kind of pain, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual pain, who knows. But, whatever type of pain, it's the same teaching. Opening into it. Getting the body to relax. Allowing helping, inviting the nervous system to calm down. Bringing the nervous system into a place of peace. When the nervous system gets into a place of peace, oftentimes a lot of the pain begins to release. And I want to be clear here. I'm not saying all of the pain will release, but a lot of it. There's the two types of pain. One is there's, the pain from the actual trauma, the actual nerves like hurting, pain being in our body. And then there's our psychology, the way we hold the pain, the way we relate to it. A lot of times people are just like arguing and resisting the pain. I know I did that for a good part of 10 years. I fought with it and felt victimized by it. I felt victimized by God. I felt victimized by life. I felt victimized by, whatever. If we can let go of that, if we can let go of our story that's associated with the pain, and just open into it, feel it fully, experience it fully. What I found, and this will sound crazy, but what I found is any experience, if you open into it fully, it'll be spacious, it will be alive, it will be vibrant, and I can even say this, blissful. Now, that may sound crazy, absolutely crazy to you. But if you look at what pain is, what any experience is, it's energy. And oftentimes pain is like stuck energy that's raging in our body. But as you open to it, as you release like the psychological layers and conditioning around the pain, that pain begins to move. You may feel rushes of energy, tears come, feelings, fits of anger empty out of you. But the energy, it will rush. It'll empty out and it will release. And if there's still pain, just like pure physical pain, there'll be that there too. And I wish, that there was a button that I could just press the reset button on an individual. But I haven't found that button. Haven't found that. And so this is the way that I've learned to work with chronic pain, over my 10 years plus experience with chronic pain. Pain is no stranger to me. It's no stranger. But I found when I really work with it, when I really open to it, it's such a relief not to resist it, not to fight with it, to fully allow it to come forward and express itself. I'd even say it's quite beautiful, quite intelligent, quite liberating. And again, I wouldn't wish this experience on anyone. And my heart goes out, to individuals who live with, like a chronic pain or disease. And I know a handful of people I work with, their pain, it just doesn't move no matter what. And when we have that kind of experience, after we've even opened to it, sometimes it's good just to cry, to grieve, to let go. And just to admit, yes, it's hard. It's hard to be human in this world. It's painful, it's difficult. There's no trick we can do to get around this. But the one thing most of us can do, and I say that clearly, most of us, is work with our psychological reaction, our physiological reaction to the pain itself. And this is the door I'm inviting you to open, to become intimate with, and see if that can release, and see. See if a lot of the pain can empty out of you. And then it becomes much more livable or manageable. So yeah, thank you. And my heart goes out to you, my friend.